Alright guys, we are going to be starting our felt monsters today. Okay, so in your folder, you should locate your pattern that we picked out last week. And if you have completed your Sewing 101 packet, then I should have given you the directions as well. If you have not finished the Sewing 101 packet, then you should not have these because you are not able to move on yet. Okay. So your felt monster is broken down into 5 different parts of completing this project. Part number 1 has multiple steps just like everything else does, okay? So with part number 1, first thing you're going to do is you are going to write your name and today's date on top of this paper. That way if you leave it on my floor, I can get it back to you pretty easily, okay? So first, name and date. Second thing you're going to do is you are going to carefully read all of the rest of the directions, okay? So carefully go through, read the directions, see what you are going to have to do, okay? Once you have read the directions, you are ready to move on to start cutting out your pattern, okay? You will need to go get the paper scissors. Paper scissors will be on the back table in a container. Please do not use the scissors at your desk with the orange handles, as those are for your fabric, okay? So you will get paper scissors from the back, and you are going to go around and you are going to carefully cut out your monster around the edges, okay? I pre-cut mine just to make it a little bit easier. So as you can see, I just went through and I cut along the black lines, okay? So that was number 3 under part 1, okay? So step 4 is you are going to use a pencil, okay? And we are going to draw on your pattern to show where you will utilize each stitch, where extras will go, etc. Okay, so you have to use all 3 stitches that you practice in class through the Sewing 101 packet. So you have to do the running stitch, which is what you guys did on lines 7 and 8. You will do the back stitch, which is what we used on lines 5 and 6, and you will do the over stitch, which is what we did on lines 1 and 2. Besides those 3 stitches, you also have to create a face on your monster, eyes and a mouth. You can give it a nose if you want, and at least 1 extra or accessories. So I will have these on a table that you can pick from. But some extras that you can do is you can give your monster like a little heart, you can give them a necklace, you can give them a tie here, which is what I did here with this dude. You can give them some, this is supposed to be like an iPod kind of thing, that you can give them and then stitch like a cord. You can give them a guitar. Those are the extras you can do. Some eyes that you can choose from is you have different size eyes that you can do. As you can see, I use 2 sizes. I think I used this one and this one. You can do 1 big one, multiple, doesn't really matter. And then you also have some examples of some mouse that you can do. I kind of freehanded mine, just did a circle and then did like lips to the side. Okay, so you can kind of have some creativity. You can also use these as eyes if you want. I think that's what they're really for. Here's some more mouse that you can do. You can give them teeth. If you're going to do this, you would do 2 different backgrounds. So you do 1 background for here and then another for the teeth. So those are kind of the accessories that you can play with. So what you're going to do with step number 4 is I'm going to take my pattern and I'm just going to mark it up. So I will say, you know, along the edges, I'm going to do the overstitch, okay? And that's just what I'm choosing to do. You guys can do however you want, but I'm just going to say to sew them together, I'm going to do the overstitch, okay? And then I'm going to say I want to do these eyes on my monster, okay? So then I'm going to just quickly kind of sketch those eyes in, okay? So I kind of sketch them in, and then I'm going to say I'm going to do the running stitch, okay? So then I quickly just sketched and said I'm going to do the running stitch to attach those. All right, so I have my eyes, now I need my mouth. So I'm gonna look at my paper and let's see here. I'm gonna do these teeth right here. So then I'm gonna just draw that in real quick. Give him some fangs. And let's say I'm gonna do the back stitch to attach these. Okay. Last thing I have to do is, now that I have a face, is I have to add some type of extra. So I'm gonna keep it simple, and I'm just gonna say I'm gonna add the hearts. And I'm gonna put it down here on, okay, and I'm just gonna say I'm gonna use the running stitch. Okay, so I went through and I just labeled, you know, I'm going to use the overstitch to attach my patterns. I drew in what eyes I was going to use and said I was going to use my running stitch there. I drew on my mouth and I got my back stitch, and then I added my one little extra. Okay. So again, you can use the 3 stitches anywhere you want. You just need to pre-plan what you're going to do and kind of draw it on your monster pattern so you have an idea of what it's going to look like. Okay. Once you have done this and you've kind of pre-planned it out, you can use those paper scissors that you already had at your table, and you can cut out the accessories, teeth, mouth, anything that you said that you were going to use. Okay. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to place your 2 pieces of felt together. Okay. So I'm going to place them together. Make sure that they are even. So pretty simple. Place 2 pieces of felt together. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper pattern and you're going to pin your paper pattern onto the 2 pieces of felt. You want to make sure that you pin them to both pieces of felt, so that way when you cut your pattern out, it cuts both pieces of fabric or felt out. Okay, please use your felt wisely. Your extra felt from your monsters is what you and your classmates are going to be using when you start adding your extras and you need some extra color felt. So do not pin the pattern directly in the middle. You want to pin it more to the side, that way we have some extra. So let me pin this and then I will show you what we're doing. Alright, so as you can see, I've laid my pattern here on my felt, and I'm going to put it as close to kind of the edges as I can, so I will have the most felt left over that I can donate to the bin to be used. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pins, and I want to make sure my pins are perpendicular to the edge of the fabric. Okay? So what I mean by that is I'm going to tuck needle stuck my pin, okay, and I'm going to put it perpendicular. I do this so that as I'm cutting my pattern out, I'm not going to be cutting through any of the pins. I don't have to stop and rearrange it. Okay. So I like to start at one end and kind of work my way around. That way as I'm going, I can kind of smooth the pattern out as well. Depending on your monster, you may have to use more, you may have to use less pins. It kind of just depends on your pattern. Okay. We're going to do one more on this leg just to make sure it's secure. Okay. So, here it is. My monster's pinned down. At this point, once your monster's pinned onto your fabric, you need to come and find me. That way I can check off your pattern and make sure that you have it pinned properly. This is also a grade checkpoint, so don't skip this. If I do not see this before you start cutting, then I cannot give you the points for this part of your project, okay? Once I have initialed your paper and signed it, you are good to go back to your table, and you are going to find the orange cutting shears that are at your table, okay? Do not use the paper ones to cut. You want the orange ones. and you are going to just cut along the outside of your pattern. Okay, so I will just follow it along. Okay, these scraps I'm just going to set to the side. We want to hold on to your scrap felt, okay? I will have a bucket in the front of the room where you can put it once you are finished cutting out your pattern. I should not see you throwing any felt away, because this is what you guys are going to be using to add your extras, okay? I will not be getting out any new full sheets of paper. So if we don't hold on to these little scraps, then you won't be able to add like your eyes, your mouth, and your extras to your project. Okay. So I've got one leg done. I'll continue going this way. As you're kind of cutting, think about if you did multiple colors for your monster. Think about what color do you want to be the front of your monster and what color do you want to be the back of your monster. Okay. Alright, so now that my monster is all cut out, I can then unpin the pattern. Okay, so I'm going to remove all of these pins and I'm going to put them directly into my pin cushion. Remember, none of them should be on your table. Okay, and you will have your two patterns for your monster and then the paper that you drew on. You want to hold on to this because this is going to kind of be your pattern or template of what you're going to sew. So hold on to this. Your scrap pieces of fabric right here, you're going to take up to the front of the room where I have the bucket, and you're going to throw these into the bucket. That way your classmates, or if you want to use it later on, you have the scrap material available. Okay, so that is step number 1.